Greetings, everyone, and welcome tonight to day number 122 of our update. And as you guys are well aware, you can see my background. I'm still on the road traveling, still here in the middle of the desert in Yerington, Nevada. Over the last couple of nights, I've been promising you that we would have Zhenya on with us. And good news tonight is we've got him. He's still a little bit under the weather, but early morning on the ground there in Ukraine. And many things have happened in the last 24 hours, and we're going to get to it. So I want to go ahead and welcome him in here. Hey, buddy, good morning to you.
Good evening, friends.
Yes, sir. Zhenka, number one, we'll just start here. I've been letting everyone know that you've not been feeling well the last couple of days. How you feeling?
Thank you. I feel myself much better.
Good.
Let's say it's almost. Thank you.
Almost back to normal.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, we're concerned about you.
Back to normal.
And I just want to make sure you're okay there, so that's good news. Well, bud, let's get right to it. And, of course, you know, lots of new folks are watching the stream, and I've got a lot of folks watching through Reddit now. And you are on the ground there in Khmelnytsky, Ukraine. And the last 24 hours have been absolutely crazy. So I've got some different topics that I want to throw out to you. And for those of you that are watching, just want you to understand that we do not prep this. We do not pre-prepare. Usually when I'm in the studio, we have full graphics and all that power, but here we're just talking. I have a map that, of course, we'll reference, but I'm going to throw out the topics to Zhenya, and then as a Ukrainian there in the war, we'll get his responses, because last 24 hours, really 23 hours since we concluded the stream last night, it's just been crazy. So we're going to start by talking about Belarus tonight. That's going to be the first thing. So, Zhenya, I'm going to make a couple of statements here. I can go to the map, and everyone can see here Belarus right here, north of Ukraine. But here's what we have. Belarus is continuing to move munitions not only toward the borders on the north side of Ukraine, but also up against Poland, up against Lithuania, and we know that they're also rotating munitions around to the Donbass, just basically working to reinforce the Russian military. And, you know, over the 122 days of the war, there has been times where Ukraine has been struck from Belarusian territory, but it was like, okay, we think it came from Belarusian territory. Then they would say, well, the plane came through Belarus, Russia, or whatever. But we have absolute confirmation for the first time, without a doubt, that from Belarusian dirt, from Belarusian territory, Ukraine has been struck with missiles, and airplanes have used that territory. So it looks like, and I'm going to throw it to you now, Belarus is getting hot on, of course, the side of Russia. They're increasing their activity.
Yes, Russia is trying to move in Belarus, move in, I mean, get them deeper. This is why their flights, their airplanes started from Russia. They were flying, they got all on Belarusian territory, launched their missiles to Ukraine, and landed back in Russia. They made it. It's the first time like that.
Yes.
Confirmed, officially confirmed. So, and I think will be the next step, in my personal opinion, next step that Russia will do the same way. They will take Ukrainian attack on Belarus.
Yes. We also know that, you know, Ukraine reported that the intelligence out of Kyiv, and that would be Budanov, they reported that it's very apparent that Russia and Belarus are preparing like more false flag events. So not only do we have the, you know, airspace being used, the dirt being used, munitions coming from Belarus in their storages, but now, you know, Ukrainian intelligence, Budanov, is actually saying, hey, we need to pay attention, because it looks like they'll even create false flag events in Belarus to pull Belarus into this war much stronger. Second thing is, I told everyone last night, Highmars are there officially. We know of at least one on the front line working, and today the United States came out and said we will have 4 more Highmars there by mid-July. Now, I'm going to make the statement, you respond. thank you, USA. We're very happy. That's a very strong weapon. But please, can you get it here quicker, and can we have more?
Yes.
Okay.
Amen for that.
Well, because John
Kirby
came out, the Pentagon spokesman, and said, we're doing such a great job how we can get stuff to Ukraine so quick. It's the fastest in the history of the world. So then why is it taking us that long to get some HIMARS there? I think we're capable. So thank you, but hurry up.
Let's say he said it was like a part of truth. Some stuff could be delivered really fast, but not something important for us.
Yes.
So about HIMARS, it's a very effective, let's say, toy. And if you didn't see the comparison video of comparing the version we had, the Grad, and they showing there is a comparison video of working. So
I'll have to find it.
Thank you. We need more, and we need it now.
Yes. I want to flip over now. We've been following the story of Severodonetsk, of Zolota, of Gorsky, and Lysychansk. And you and I have been talking about this over the last week that, you know, I put it out there 10 days ago that Severodonetsk would fall. And honestly, unless Ukraine just received so many munitions that they could push back, there was really no way to stop it because Ukraine was just Russia, was just shelling. You know, we're not superheroes. We're doing superhero jobs, but there's no way that could continue. So Ukraine, over the last 36 hours or so, gave and I don't even want to use the retreat word, but they gave the withdrawal word because we had discussed there was a 4-mile gap for Ukrainian soldiers to safely escape, and they were just being demolished in Severodonetsk. Not that they were not fighting well, but it's just impossible to hold on with the amount of shells that were falling. So they've pulled back to safer zones. And, so I've got the map here. You can see where we've Severodonetsk now fully red. You can see where Russian military is right up on that, Severodonetsk River. And we'll now be looking at Lysychansk. But I can tell you that, I look at this kind of a 50-50. I wish we could have held on to Severodonetsk. But here's what I'm thankful for. Our troops did not get encircled. We can pull back, we can restore, we can refresh, we can get stronger, and we can push back. If they had been encircled, it would even be a greater victory for Russia. So tactically speaking, what did Russia gain here? Really very little because they've already destroyed that city, and the river is already a blockade. So you hate to have to back up, but this was a good backup. And it was a successful operation for Ukraine withdrawing to safer locations.
Yeah. This is what I wanted to. This was a successful plan.
Yes.
And it was planned before. And,
yes.
Because last weeks, they were doing a lot of preparation for leaving that. And they were creating new positions, preparing it, and the new positions should be better and stronger.
Yes, sir.
So I think we'll see it. And
Fortified.
Will.
Okay, I want to talk now. Let me get over here. Boris Johnson, of course, a great friend of Ukraine, but Boris Johnson came out and made a statement because there's actually some inside political rumblings going on in Great Britain, lots of internal issues happening in Great Britain, as well as America right now. Yesterday, Roe v. Wade, I don't know if you know that, but that's the abortion ruling, was overturned by the Supreme Court, and America over the last 24 hours has really just descended into a lot of chaos, and it's just a lot of evil here, overruling that abortion, which, praise God, it happened, and that was overruled and overturned. So it's a good for us, but a lot of internal strife. Same thing in Great Britain. There's been rumblings about Boris Johnson, and Boris Johnson came out and made a statement today, and he said if the UK forces him to maybe tone down the support of Ukraine or to limit the support of Ukraine, that he believes so much in supporting Ukraine that he would resign. So I think that's a very good statement. to come from our friend there, Boris Johnson, should put a smile on your face, letting you know that you've got a good ally there in Boris Johnson, of course. You smiling?
Ooh.
You like Boris Johnson?
Yes. Boris Johnson. Yes.
He's a friend.
Not me. I mean, he has nice hair for sure, but
he's got nice hair for
he's
sure.
a friend of Ukraine, and his position is principle, and his position is not just on the words.
Correct. That's the point of sharing this tonight in the update. He's committed.
Already Ukraine, anti-tanks missiles, and a lot of good stuff.
Yes, he's a confirmed friend. I want to move over now, Zheka, and look at Zaporozhye, which of course is in the southern part of Ukraine. This is Energodar right here. I'll zoom in Energodar for us, and that of course is where the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is. And today, the IAEA, or the International Atomic Energy Agency, raised the critical alert on that power plant, not because of a radiation leak or anything of that nature, but because of the skilled Ukrainian laborers and scientists and those that work that power plant are becoming to a place that they're under so much distress. And we know for a fact we've had scientists shot in the hospital. We've had families of scientists kidnapped. Over the last 48 hours, people in that town of Energodar have been kidnapped and left, and most assuredly it is to pressure the workers of that nuclear power plant, which is it number 1 in size or number 2 in all of Europe? It's huge. But the bottom line is the IAEA raised their alert because they're concerned that the quality of the work that is needed from the Ukrainian scientists is now being limited due to the nonstop pressure of the Russian forces there, putting pressure on them.
It's okay. One more time, we see the reality. What kind of people or an organization that itself kidnapping family members and then putting the other family members under the pressure and demanding something?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it terrorist way? I mean, okay, what if the whole government and its official position of trees like that? How we should call it?
It is 100% terrorism. 100%.
Terrorism, no doubt.
Want to jump over?
And I believe this is quite an important moment. This one, because when Russia does something like that, it's not about like occasion or some mistake, because of the plan, and they regularly protect their position, trying to fake the reality or people, other specialists, and blame them later of the stuff which can happen.
Exactly. There is an absolute calculated plan there to keep that plant working, to, of course,
yes,
try to steal it, but at the same time to cause so much pressure and distress that it's starting to affect the work there in that plant, and the IAEA is very well aware of it. And it takes professional scientists to run that power plant. You have to. You don't leave the Pizza Hut and go work at that power plant. It takes scientists and professionals and very smart people. So it's a very dangerous situation. Now, I want to jump over now, if you don't mind. I want to jump over to Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad, of course, is the Russian territory there on the sea. It is north of Poland. It's right in the middle of the map there for everybody, and south of Lithuania. And it also has that little gap there that will where Belarus kind of pushes up in Lithuania, Poland, and Kaliningrad come together. We know that Lithuania has been making really bold statements about not allowing Russian transport through of sanctioned goods, not only on rail, but now also on truck, and they have not backed down. So it came out today that in Kaliningrad, the locals there and the Russian government is telling the locals to prepare shelter, to prepare supplies, to make sure that the bunkers and the bomb shelters are provided for. And we know that military equipment is rolling around through Kaliningrad, which of course is Russian. And you told me right when we called each other about the continued threats against Lithuania, and that would be Vilnius, from one of the nut jobs, but it's it's an official nut job there out of the Kremlin in Moscow. So what do you have on Kaliningrad and what's going on there?
Let's say I wait for next confirmation, but from information I've got, the Zaharova, you know, the person, Zaharova,
Zakharova.
he posted recommendation that Russia, or reminder that Russia has own rights to protect their the Russian own interest, international interest. So the recommendation was to food for Lithuanians and to move aside from the biggest airports, etc., etc. And I think it's the way Russia does to create chaos, because Lithuania is one of the longest country by holding the position, not changing ideas, not changing the agenda, and so it's like they have position, they're firm in that, and I believe this is what they're trying to shake them. I mean, and to create chaos. Plus, a lot of Ukrainians, and if with that information, a lot of Ukrainians maybe will try to started to move away, to flee from that country, which will create more financial pressure on Europe and bring more chaos on the territory, between that neck between Russia.
Well, that's exactly what terrorists and terrorist states do. It's continue pressure. It's continue, pushing the hot buttons. And speaking of that, last thing I want to talk about today. Today, I think probably since the war started, has been the largest day of cruise missile strikes in one 24-hour period. We know that throughout Ukraine, for example, I can go to the map now for us, but throughout Ukraine, Zhytomyr region was struck by, let's get to the right zoom here, 24 cruise missiles. We know that people have been killed. We also know that there is continual shelling here across the north, which would be in the region of Chernigiv here, as well as wrapping around to Sumy. Kryvyi Rog in the center of the nation has been hit. As well, Lviv over in the west has been hit. We know that Lviv was hit from the Black Sea with cruise missiles, and we know that Zhytomyr was hit from Belarus. We've already talked about that. But the bottom line is a very, very intensive day of cruise missiles flying throughout Ukraine, and lots of them hitting targets. Additionally, right now going online, we know that Kharkiv is being hit very hard over the last hour or so. So what about the intensity, bud? The intensity of the missile?
Yeah, just a short time ago we got information that from Kharkiv that 7 missiles hit Kharkiv during 1 hour, the last 1 hour. And before that time, 48 missiles were launched to Ukraine during last day. And it's crazy, and this is reality, and it shows, hey, world, please.
Well, once again, we talk about
bring us some weapons.
Bring some weapons, and we talk about Russia's can just keep a supply, and some of them may be old weapons, but the bottom line is they have them. So very intense day on the strikes. A good day where, you hate to say on the withdrawal, but Ukraine was able to reinforce. And finally, but here's one of the great things that happened today. There was a prophetic spiritual moment that happened. And of course, we've talked many times about Kirill, the patriarch, the Russian Orthodox patriarch, who is basically Putin's best buddy and one of the greatest pushers of this war, even from the religious side, what I call the unholy wars. But today, something prophetic happened, and I think everybody will enjoy this. Here's Kirill, not giving a speech, but taking a walk. Folks, it may be funny. You may look and go, okay, you made that up. You clipped that. No, we didn't clip that or edit it. He took a spill today while they were singing Lord Have Mercy. Well, Bud, that's our update.
Okay. Yes.